Hello and welcome. Today we are in the Tier 8 US destroyer, the Kid. And first things first, look at the minimap, look at what the CV is doing with the torpedo bombers. Pay attention, because this is something I hadn't really seen before or even considered. The CV flies her torpedo bombers over to the beat cap, drops a fighter plane, then immediately recalls, and then launches rocket planes. This is, by the way, a ranked battle, as you can tell, on the map Northern Waters. I decided to go towards the A cap. Anyway, that fighter plane there will protect the Cossack from taking the cap zone. The enemy CV is much less likely to be able to strike or somehow hinder the Cossack, although maybe that fighter plane could have been slightly better positioned, but the idea still remains. It protects the ships going for the cap zone. Now though, because the CV player immediately recalled those planes and is flying over to the A cap now as quickly as she can with the rocket planes, you'll notice that she will drop a fighter plane on the other side of the cap zone. Essentially where I pinged right now. And what this achieves is that while the enemy destroyer is getting close, just like I am to the A cap, well, most likely is, she won't be able to enter the cap without being spotted. She can't, like, smoke before the cap to run into the cap or anything like that. If she wants to go into the cap from that angle, she will be spotted. Which means that, well, she doesn't know. Maybe she will get shot at, maybe suddenly a cruiser appears, who knows, right? She doesn't have that information. And because of that, this fighter plane over there essentially prevents the enemy destroyer from entering the cap zone. Or at least severely dissuades her. And I think this is quite amazing. I've never seen anything like this. And it's really, really, really smart. Because as a destroyer player, do you really want to take the risk of, flying into a fighter plane and get spotted at the start of the game when you don't know what could be, out there? I don't think I would like to take that chance. And I think this is like a literal 200 IQ move right there. Anyway, because of that, we get the cap zone easily, although it might simply be because the Montpellier and the Richelieu is coming with me over here. Anyway, I do have to actually be careful though, because, well, Akizuki is on the other side. That means the destroyer here is the Loyang. And the Loyang can probably outfight me fairly easily due to her combination of Hydro and radar. Sorry, Hydro and smoke, which allow her to, well, if I head towards her and we end up spotted, she can slow down smoke and Hydro and take a few shots on me without me being able to return fire. I waited for my teammates a little bit, but now I was like, what am I gonna do? We do have both of the cap zones, but because there seems to only be 2 ships over here, well, maybe 3. That's the destroyer and the mines. By the way, RPF is telling me that the destroyer is here. If I didn't have RPF, I would have no idea that there would be a DD here, right? Because we haven't seen anything from her. But because I have RPF, I know. And so I'm gonna try to spot her. Anyway, because we only have 2 enemy ships here, but we have 3 ships here, but we have 3 of our own ships here, it means we must do something. Because our side on the other side of the map is fighting a losing battle. They are outnumbered, which means that they are more likely to be to end up being on the losing side. And because of that, we must do something. I mean, we're dealing damage to the mines, right? But I think this could all be upset by one torp salvo from that Loyang onto the Richelieu or Montpellier, right? And so I'm gonna use my RPF to try to chase this Loyang down, because with a Montpellier, I think my chances of not losing the fight are pretty good. Especially with the Richelieu behind me. On top of that, I also provide torpedo spotting. So my battleship and cruiser have more time to react to the torpedoes. Although I do have to keep in mind though that I might end up running into the torpedo, but then again I have a heal, so it'll be fine. Another thing to point out though is that the CV has actually invested a lot of resources onto this side. She has flown planes here a few times already, which means that, those aren't times that the CV could have invested on the other side of the map. Anyway, there's the Loyang, and wow, she immediately smoked and hydroed, and now I'm gonna take damage. That's one salvo by the Loyang, 2 salvos by the Loyang, and mines, 3 salvos by the Loyang. they gained 3 salvos from the Loyang for free because of the Hydro, and now I can't actually chase into the smoke. I have to stay away, otherwise I will simply go down, but that's okay. I mean, staying away is fine. As long as we know where the Loyang is and what she's doing, she isn't probably going to be very effective. On top of that, the damage doesn't really matter that much. I have a heal, so Kid is one of the best destroyers to, in my opinion, fight other destroyers in this tier, just because she has the great anti-air, and she has a smoke, and she has a heal. This means that you can, you know, live to fight another day, whereas in a destroyer like Akizuki, which I think is a great DD on this tier, if you take a lot of damage in the Akizuki, you're kinda out of the game unless you use your smoke to fire on someone. Anyway, we have lost our cruiser on the eastern side of the map. That's kind of what I mean. We are behind on that side, which means that we are probably not going to win that side, so we must do something here. And it seems the Loyang is actually moving, which is why I'm gonna try to intercept her. Because, hey, Montpellier is going one way, I'll go the other way, and combined with the Richelieu and maybe some help with the CV, we should be able to deal with the destroyer and then perhaps the mines. Although maybe the mines is actually a bigger threat. Because if my battleship and cruiser take out the mines, maybe with the CV, I should be able to fight the Loyang at this point, because if we make contact now, she won't have the Hydro. Also, our Bismarck went down to the Parseval, so we're losing quite rapidly on that side of the map. This is why I generally don't like the idea of taking many ships into A, because your side with the 2 camps tends to lose, but then again, we have gained a lot of points by this point. There's the Loyang. I'm not gonna fire right now, although I know the Loyang knows where I am because of RPF. She's kind of far away, and if she just turns away a little bit, which she is going to do when the Richelieu and Montpellier fire at her, well, I'm gonna miss anyway, so might as well not bother, because I'm sure the mines will try to make my day more difficult if I do fire. Oh, the Bismarck actually took out their Bismarck in return. By the way, if you want to figure out whether your torpedoes can reach a ship, you should do the following. Point your camera at the grey line of the ship. Now look at the minimap. Draw a line directly from your camera, and then draw another line from the ship you're aiming at. If those 2 lines intersect within your torpedo range circle, then your torpedoes can reach the ship. But that's not the case here. However, we are dealing with a destroyer that does change the course quite a lot, and as you saw, at the very end there for a bit, the intersection was within the torpedo range circle, so I'm just gonna launch the torpedoes. Maybe we'll get lucky. Anyway, the mine seems to be going down soon. I think Loyang might have Hydra again if I go and poke her. So I'm not really entirely sure whether I wish to engage her or not, but if the mines goes down, there's really no reason not to, because if we trigger... Oh, there she is. Probably gonna Hydro, which is why I'm gonna already start turning away. Oh, she's slowing down, so that means if she isn't gonna Hydro, she's at least going to smoke. There's the smoke. There's no Hydro yet, I think. But it shouldn't matter too much. I can at least continue firing at the mines now, because the Loyang is in the smoke, and the mines is behind this. Oh, Loyang actually left the smoke for a bit. Anyway, we are getting closer and closer to the A-cap. By the way, my main batteries got just broken, both of them at the back. Kinda, I don't think I've seen something quite like that, but mine should go down soon, and Loyang will then have to wonder, what does she do? Because I am gonna enter the C-cap. Yeah, the enemy has taken the B-cap, but as I've mentioned, our team was weaker on the eastern side of the map because we had more forces on the western side. Anyway, the mines has gone down. Now I don't really worry about fighting the Loyang much. Also, notice how RPF points me that Loyang is not in the smoke anymore, which means that if we face up, it doesn't matter whether she has Hydra or not. Therefore, I am going to push her. I really wish to find this destroyer, because if we can take her out, I think we are in a very good spot. As long as we keep our CV alive, although it does look kinda sketchy looking at the minimap. I don't know how close that Lexington is to that Massachusetts, but it's slightly uncomfortable for me. Looking at it, it's possible that the CV might make it difficult for her. There's the Loyang. Slowing down doesn't really help you too much this time because you don't have a smokescreen anymore. And I still have help from that Richelieu and Montpellier, although it does appear our Montpellier is kind of out of position. By the way, if you didn't notice just now, two of my main turrets got broken again, somehow. Unbelievable. But hey, we got the destroyer and it doesn't matter if my main batteries break that often. Although it is kind of bizarre. Now it's time to head towards the sea cap. There is a potential Akizuki over there, so do have to worry about it. Okay, I made a slight exaggeration in chat 5 times. It was only 4 times, okay? I point out where the Akizuki is with RPF and I'm gonna head towards the cap. I should be fairly safe like this. Our CV is flying in. Also, she has managed to save herself with an island. Oh, RPF just jumped. So this means Akizuki has changed places or it jumped to a different ship. Anyway, I'm gonna launch torpedoes regardless. Probably should have damaged on this engine problem, but hey, I didn't. Oh, there's the Akizuki. I'm gonna slow down because I do have a smokescreen. There's not really much of a point using it when I'm still going quickly, although my engine being broken did actually make me slow down slower. But Akizuki used the smokescreen as well, so it didn't matter too much. And our heal probably has won us this fight. Plus the support from my allies. Anyway, I'm gonna accelerate again. This should hopefully dodge any torpedoes Akizuki might have dropped on me during this time. CV planes are coming in, so I'm just gonna smoke. Because, well, they are AP rockets. They can still spot me and somebody else might take a shot. Or maybe she just gets lucky with the rocket planes herself. It's better to simply just be in the smokescreen, since I only have 2.6k HP, and I can utilize my anti-air here to help my teammates survive the AA attack, although I don't think Richelieu is too worried about Parseval AP rockets. And here we have the sea cap, and we're probably gonna win in 15 seconds by points. Capping does win games apparently, especially when your CV is an excellent player. I can't believe that move at the start. That was like when I saw this move, I started copying when playing CVs in ranked because it just seemed such a great idea. Can't believe I never actually thought of it. Also, I only did 17k damage. I did sink 2 ships, but let's be honest, somebody else did most of that. And look at my XP, only 17k damage, and I got 1600 base XP with the number 2 guy on our team being at 1100. Also, I can't believe that Lexington only got 993 base XP. Like, that guy definitely deserved more from this game. But I don't know what the XP calculation was like. I suppose the 2 solo caps made a huge difference. And potentially the fact that I mostly fought the destroyer, well, destroyers. But yeah, this was a nice game, and I really wanted to show the whole process of maneuvering with RPF and finding a ship. Because even if you don't use it yourself, you have to be aware that somebody else might do this to you, and so you should take precautions ahead of time. So let's take a look at the upgrades and commander skills that I use on the kid, although it's nothing special. So priority target, last stand, survivability expert, although maybe on this ship you might go for superintendent first because it's an extra heal. I'm not really sure, but you're probably gonna get both anyway. Then concealment expert. After that I figured I would go for radio location and then adrenaline rush. Because sure, adrenaline rush is nice and all for dealing more damage and all of that, but RPF is just so useful in ranked battles as a destroyer. In randoms maybe less so, but in ranked it's just so good because you get this extra information, and this extra information can make all the difference in the world. Remember, if I hadn't had RPF, I wouldn't have known that there was a Loyang there stalking us at the start. If she could have gotten our broadside and then maybe torpedoed our Richelieu, the game could have gone quite differently. Upgrades wise, obviously concealment upgrade. Then I go for propulsion, although I could see an argument to be made for the rudder shift one, but because I don't have a speed boost, because I use defensive fire, right? You could go for a speed boost, but I use defensive fire. because of that, I'm gonna go for the propulsion mod, because if I'm in a smoke and need to get going quickly, well, getting going quickly is quite important, since there might be torpedoes coming. Usually on destroyers you can mitigate that a little bit with engine boost, but since I don't have it, I rely on the upgrade. And the third slot, actually I don't know what to go for here. Because in the Kid, sure, torpedo speed is nice and all, but the Kid only has one torpedo launcher, and this only makes your torpedoes go 58 knots, so they're not exactly amazing even with all of this. So I'm kind of unsure what to go for. Aiming systems isn't that necessary anyway, the dispersion doesn't seem to make a huge difference on a DD, your turret traverse is already fast enough, so 5.3 seconds. Oh yeah, I really need that extra 15%. Yeah, guns one, I don't know, might like 2 seconds better priority or sector targeting time. I don't think that makes much of a difference either. And the smoke generator, I suppose you could consider this to be nice because you can lay a longer smoke screen, but it does reduce the smoke screen dispersion time, and I'm not sure whether I like that one. And the second slot I use the defensive fire special upgrade, mostly because it reduces the reload of defensive fire, but maybe engine room protection might actually just be better, because I don't really need to defensive fire that often anyway. And in the first slot it's the usual main arms modification. So yeah, Kid is a nice ship and all, but I just think that any destroyer could have mostly done what I did in this match. Although maybe the enemy CV might have come along with torpedo bombers more often. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would like to thank the patrons on Patreon. Thank you very much for your continued support, and I hope I'll see you guys next time.